emphasizes on developing all the skills, you will improve your instruction in all the subjects. It's not one English. And that communication helps in mathematics, your science, your social studies, or your computer sciences and everything. And therefore, communications, as ma'am mentioned, it's a very, very important one in 21st century skills. And why are we talking about communication skills in engineering colleges? Because we didn't do our work properly at school level. I don't have any hesitation or reservation, no inhibitions here. I'm telling you very categorically, if we do our job well of developing communication skills, there is absolutely no need to have a communication skills period in professional colleges. Yeah, please, any of you like. Over to you.
Sir, Ramkrishna sir.
Please.
Whom do you want me to unmute, sir?
Anybody. In case they're ready, they can.
Okay. If any one of you have questions, you can please raise the hand so that I can unmute you. There's a lot of disturbance from someone. I request you to please mute your phones. Sir, no questions so far, sir. You can please continue.
Okay. I spent a little time on a collaborative project. Okay. And this seems to be very simple, but let us understand the intricacies of this collaborative project. I give a... Ma'am, you identify the source, you can mute it.
I'm trying, sir. I'm trying, sir. 1 second, sorry.
And it's okay. Yeah.
Harish sir, please mute your phone, sir.
Yeah, that's fine now. We are talking about collaboration. Collaboration means, I told in general, if a child has to get, say, 10 on 10 GPA, each teacher has got his or her own responsibility in that. Ensure that in her subject, the student gets full marks or whatever it is, in case marks are awarded. That's what we learned as collaboration. If you want to understand this collaboration, you remember an orchestra. If you remember this orchestra, each one of you play your instruments. Mind you, you don't help each other. There's nothing like I don't leave my instrument and start helping someone else and all that, because I'm not familiar with that. We are all doing our own work. Number one. We are all playing our own instruments and thus producing an excellent, we all sync when we play our instruments actually. Okay, there is a perfect synchronization. And ultimately we are producing an excellent masterpiece. And if you can understand this one, this is what we mean by collaboration. And therefore, don't, use cooperation and collaboration in the same way. You can't interchange these two words. Collaboration is different. But however, in some schools, they say collaborative project. In science, these projects are given. Let us say I give a collaborative project to, say, 3 students. Then usually what happens, I tell you, the first student is good in procuring the material. Second student is good in assembling that, making the project and whatever has to be done in presentable form. And there is one third child who normally we see, of course, a girl who is active there. She says, I'll bring my dad's card. You can draw any amount, but you do the project and put my name at the end, of course. This is something, and that should be taken care of, because you see, the third girl has got marks for the project just by contributing the complete amount. Actually, we should not encourage this. That can't become, see, collaboration means dividing the work, but that does not mean you are not familiar with what is happening what is done by the other child. So when we give collaborative project, what we expect is one child may be doing that, but the other two children see what is being done. So if one child is, like assembling, the other two children sit there and watch how she is doing that. So other two must be familiar with the work done by the other two. So collaborative work, but it also tells you that all of them are involved in doing that. So though we say that each one, they do their own work and ultimately that masterpiece is produced. But when you give a project to the children, ensure that each of them know what the other two are doing. So then it works. I give you one more example from the staff point of view. See, your subject is, let us say, social studies. My subject is mathematics. But we have the common goal of getting more, like a 10 on 10 GPA or anything. You need not interfere in my work. Of course, mine is mathematics and no way, I don't know about your subject, your economics, your map drawing and all that, I do not know. But we can share certain things. Suppose, say, for example, working in tandem means what? When I give a lot of homework to the students, I tell you, sir, please don't give any work to them because I have given a lot of work already. Because I have got one exercise that has to be finished, of course, and submission is due tomorrow. And therefore, you please restrain that, like you don't give much work. Sometimes you may ask me that. Sometimes you may ask me, sir, you give me another half an hour of your time so that I have to complete my lesson. So we are all working in tandem. This is not cooperation. We are working together because we have a common objective. And therefore, I know what you are doing, whether you are administering a test or taking a lesson, taking more time or whatever it is, and the kind of instruction you are giving, keeping in mind that like getting 10 on 10 in your subject, I can take something from some lessons from you also, like though my subject is different. Therefore, collaboration does not mean all the people are working in watertight compartments. It is not alienated from each other. Like, no, I don't want to talk to you and you need not talk to me because we are working together, but our common objective is, because our common objective is there, our goal is common. Probably we can work in our own domains, but a bit of familiarity is required. So I should know what you are doing. When you're giving a lot of homework, I don't give work on that day. When you are administering a test, of course, which, like I may not give them the homework because they have to get ready for your test. And, things of that kind. When I need a little time, I can request you. When you need a little time, you can tell me, sir, you please give me your period and all that. This is how we are working in collaboration because we have got a common goal. We don't contradict each other. We don't work in watertight compartments. Our work is, we don't say it is alienated from each other and working in different entities and all that. We have a common goal and therefore we share that common purpose and we work in collaboration. We have freedom. We exercise our own freedom, but we know each other's work because that is important in collaboration. And the communication we have spoken at length. And the creativity, what happens, I tell you, like, I give you like one example from my physics about the creativity. Like once a question was given to a class and the question was, I will give you a barometer. How do you determine the height of the building? This was the question given. So what is that expected by the teacher is, you measure the pressure at the ground floor, you measure the pressure at the top of the building, and using these two pressures and a variation in that, you can determine the height of the building. That is the purpose of giving the barometer. And when this question was given, one child has written answer. He said, sir, I sell the barometer, I get some money. With that money, I buy a tape. Using the tape, I determine the height of the building. I said, this is a good answer. He used a barometer. He determined the height of the building. He said, sir, you give me the marks. You can't cut marks for me because it is an idea. I should appreciate. That's a very creative answer. I said, there is no physics in that. There's no physics in that. I would have really appreciated had you used some physics. Then he said, sir, I give you one more answer. I take the barometer, I tie a rope to it, I drop that rope down, and I see that the barometer, as it reaches the ground, I just can measure the length of the rope, I can find out. I said, there is no physics in this also. Because you are using like any other stone, that barometer, and as the stone reaches the ground here. Then he said, sir, I will do one thing. I will drop the barometer from the top of the building. I will drop the barometer from top of the building. I note down the time taken for that, time of descent. And S equals half GT square. Now you give me the marks. He dropped the barometer from the top of the building. He noted the time of descent, how much time it has taken to reach the ground. And there is so much of physics. He said S equals half GT square. And that is how children think if you allow them. And that is what we mean by creativity. You can't think that you have only one answer for that. Many times, if you allow the children to think creatively, my God, you can't answer their questions. That's why when we teach science, we leave them open. Because the first academic standard in science is asking questions. A good science student is the one who can ask questions and make a hypothesis. He thinks that, okay, this can be the reason for that. There is a question, there is a probable answer. Then starts your investigation, experimentation, field trips, and like doing data interpretation, graphing, and everything will come. And therefore, while teaching science, there can be a lot of creativity actually, and that should be remembered. So all these 21st century skills, 21st century skills, we try to hone them inadvertently. We are not conscious about it, but we do. We build these skills. In case if we can build these skills, I think they will be very, very successful professionals, because whenever they have campus placement, understand in one way or the other, these 4 skills are checked. Communication, they're checking, and critical thinking is their aptitude test. Okay, collaboration work also, they just give a group discussion they use collaboration there, how they solve a problem using the group discussion. And the creativity, they give questions where they think of the innovation. That's an interview. So when you look at that group discussion, aptitude test, interview, and all these things, maybe a jam session, again, they are talking about only 21st century skills. And therefore, it is imperative now. Our job is to build these skills at school level. In all our subjects, we should think of incorporating all these skills so that they will not face any challenge when they grow up. Any questions from you till now? Any questions? I think there's somebody. Did I see anybody there?
Any questions, please?
Can you apply these skills in any of your subjects, school subjects?
Yeah, Sridevi has some questions.
Please.
I don't have a question actually. When you are speaking about collaboration, I got an idea which is much step ahead of what you said, sir. Pardon me if I'm wrong.
No.
When you are saying 2 teachers are in the collaboration about someone is giving extra work or one is giving additional thing and he's in coordination or he's in the same page with the other teachers.
That's right.
That's one good concept. But I could take it to the next level to say that, for example, I'm a maths teacher. I'm just giving an example. If I'm a maths teacher, my student is really doing good in maths. But whereas the same student is not doing good in social.
Okay.
So in this collaboration, I can help the social teacher in which way I crack the child to do maths good.
Okay.
So my technique can be useful to the social teacher. It may not be the same technique. But the technique can be useful to the social teacher to bring the ability of the child out.
That's fine. Perfect.
I feel like this way also collaboration can go to next level.
Definitely. Perfect example you're given, but make sure that you're not finding fault with the other teacher.
No, sir. We should always be in peace and harmony with people.
As long as you encourage the other teacher and to bring out the best in the child. That's really wonderful. Perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Sir, I'm seeing this gentleman. Sir, are you asking any question? Sir, are you asking? I'm seeing you, sir, directly.
Me.
Yeah. Can you add anything?
Sir,
No, it's okay.
Well, no, when we just talk about this collaboration, there are several ways. Even in my just I'll be touching upon that. So, what we call as subject integration. So that I'll be talking a little elaborately in that. So I'm waiting for my chance.
Okay, please. That's good. That's good. In fact, yeah, fine. Okay.
Sir Ramakrishna sir, are we done with your session,
Yeah,
sir?
I'm done. Like I just listen now. Like.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your wonderful insights, and I appreciate Sridevi for taking active part in the session. Ramakrishna sir, I have a surprise for you. We have Nagaratna madam added in the conference.
Okay.
She is owner for Holistic Play School.
Oh my God. Okay.
I request Nagaratna madam to introduce herself to the group.
Yeah.
I think you know her in person.
Oh, really? Okay. Let me see her face. Nagaratna ma'am.
I'm trying to unmute her.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, we'll take a couple of minutes. Okay, some technical issue. Sonia ma'am, good evening. Over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are. One second, ma'am. Let me take the
Yes.
team to roughly understand your skill set. The team here, we have Sonia Nagpal, who is working as principal for Gitanjali Vedika School. She's former school leader who was, main lead for ACADS in Jubilee Hills Public School. She's also visited couple of foreign schools to understand the best practices of that particular schools. She was speaker for World Educational Summit 2019-20. Sonia ma'am, I'm keeping your introduction very brief.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Hoping that you are safe at home and enjoying your moments with your family. Ramakrishna sir has very nicely briefed us about the 21st century skills. Let me move ahead with it, with my presentation.
Sonia ma'am is a wonderful lady. She always keeps herself calm and composed. I know her from couple of months. Okay, over to you, ma'am.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to say that, can you see my screen, please?
Yeah,
The objective?
Yes, we are.
I'm so glad. So the objectives for today's session are what are the 21st century skills? Sir has already briefed us. I would like to add a few more to that. What is the importance of the century for 21st century skills? And how should we incorporate them in our teaching plan? I think this is what I would like to share with everybody. We definitely have communication, collaboration, the critical thinking and problem solving skills and creativity. What I have added now are the computer literacy, citizenship, character, and coping strategies. So life, we all know it's a series of peaks and valleys. We all go through our ups and downs in life, and we all are going through difficult times. But with a little support and guidance, I think we can all overcome this situation. And the difficult times in our lives, they help us to navigate and grow as individuals. And that is what we want to teach our children, basically. But only incorporating these 21st century skills in our lesson plans don't guarantee success. What we need to definitely do is that we need to make our children aware that they either possess some of these skills or they are in the process of acquiring such skills. They must know the importance of these skills, because we all like to do things which we consider important, which we think are very crucial. We like to do those things. Our job as teachers is to integrate them in our teaching plans. We cannot teach these skills in isolation. So we integrate them in our teaching, in our regular lesson plans. And we have to consistently use them so that our children are well equipped to face the world tomorrow, to face the challenges that the world has to offer tomorrow. Now, for our learners to make them complete holistic individuals, we have to teach our children the hard skills and the soft skills. Hard skills, basically, I think we all are aware, they are the technical abilities that make you fit for a job. So if you are in a retail job, maybe, then closing the cash counter, or somebody who is in office, the typing skills are the hard skills which are required. They need to be learned. And soft skills, they are abilities which are not particular to a job, but they will help you to fit in anywhere. They actually become a part of your personality. So these we can, add on as the communication, citizenship, collaboration. These are the soft skills which we would like to see in our children. Now, during this quarantine time, I think we all have been learners ourselves, and we have attended very many webinars. And what we have seen, what I have learned is also that there is this concept of neuroplasticity, which helps us all to learn. There is generation of new neurons, new connections are made if we keep ourselves going, our mind ticking. So this is basically the brain's ability to reorganize itself by wiring its circuitry and forming new connections. As we age, some of the cognitive skills, which is memorization or processing speed, they may decline with age. But some emotional processing and the executive functioning, which is constructing and planning, which we do, organizing events, these things don't decline with age. So we are at a benefit. We can still go ahead with certain things. We can still learn being teachers ourselves. Moving over to the first aspect of communication, I think we all know that communication today occurs not verbally, but it is also in written form. It can be in print, or it can be digital in nature. In fact, these days we have multimodal forms of communication. So we may have a text, we insert a picture in that. Or we may have a video, we may insert text in that. So this is what we are teaching our children. And at the same time, our children, having been born in this generation, they are digital natives. So it is basically they also who sometimes teach us to go ahead with the usage of technology. Now, some activities which I would like to share with you for classrooms are communication and collaboration. First one, as Sir had very rightly said, the collaboration bit is where everybody comes together and works for the same goal, right? So we could give the children some research projects. One of the examples which I am giving here is
Someone's audio.
Class. Sorry?
Oh, 1 second, Sonia. I request the participants to keep your microphone on mute. Sorry, Sonia, please, you can continue.
No worries. For example, we could ask the children to research on how many rivers flow through your country, which is the longest river. This river flows through how many states or countries, how many dams are built on this river, what are the fairs and festivals which are celebrated in the cities through which this river flows. So not only do they collaborate, they do a lot of reading, they do a lot of research work, they present also where their communication skills are enhanced. The other one which I would like to come back to is storytelling. Storytelling can be a simple narration. It could also be where we use something like this, the hand puppets. Also at the side, I think you can see a cutout here. So teachers can bring cutouts and ask the children to create their own stories. We can have a storyboard as well. This could be one form of collaborative activity wherein we break the children into groups and they come together and they make stories. The other one is back-to-back drawing, wherein there are children in group A and group B. They are sitting with their backs facing each other. A written instruction is given to the children in set A or group A. They read the instruction and they draw certain things. Now they have to communicate verbally this instruction to the children in group B to be able to draw what instruction has been given. So they have to be very clear in their instruction when they draw. The other is the voice projection. For this activity, we can again divide the children in two groups. Group A children towards one side of the classroom and group B children towards the other side of the classroom. Now the whole catch is, as Sir had also said, that for communication to happen, first of all, they have to be very active listeners. We want them to listen carefully to every bit that is spoken. We want them to be paying attention to every word that is spoken and not just pay attention to the cue so that they can answer something. So in voice projection activity, they have to pay attention. And the catch here is that both the children on both the sides, group A and group B, speak together. So they have to pay attention and they have to focus on what their particular partner is speaking. We can give them an activity about talking about their recent achievement or what is their dream. So they have to ignore all the other voices and pay attention to what their particular partner is speaking. Then there is this superhero stance, which I read about. And this I found to be really helpful because this is something which is about how you portray yourself, how you depict yourself. So the superhero stance, it projects power. It's a power pose. For an individual, for a person, you actually use the maximum space that you can. So your body is vertically, positioned. Your shoulders are at the back. Your chin is high. You meet the audience in the eye. We need to teach all these to our children. And according to a Harvard study which happened, the subjects were divided into two groups. One of the groups was told to power pose before a mock interview, and the other group was told to assume a low power position. And every time the interviewers chose the ones who were power posing. So it is always the way we feel, the way we think, because these reflect in our actions and they become our behavior. We have to tell our children to always, I think, keep it in our mind to think positively and think that they can achieve things and maintain a superhero stance, that always in a very positive manner they have to depict their personality. The other one is an example of longest body shadow formation. Here again, this is a collaborative activity where children are divided into groups, and this is a problem situation which is given to them, wherein they have to compete with the others, and it's an outdoor activity, and together they have to see how they can form the longest shadow, which group can form the longest shadow. Now, this can be very well integrated with the science concepts that we teach. So we don't have to teach these skills in isolation. So when we take up the concept of light in science, we talk about the translucent, the transparent, and the opaque bodies. When we talk about how a shadow is formed, we can include such an activity there, so that children actually know to form a shadow, we need an object, we need a source of light, and we need a screen, or we need a surface on which the shadow will fall. So this is another example of communication and collaborative activity. I would now like to move over critical thinking. I would like to add here, and I would recognize that many of us are using inquiry-based teaching. Because inquiry-based teaching enhances communication skills. We motivate the children to ask questions. We encourage them to maybe talk about their previous knowledge. We give them some hint. We ask them to gather information. We ask them to research and then present. So basically, we open the lesson with a bigger question, the theme. Now, there are different ways in which, of course, teachers can have the introductory lesson, and they can, bring the theme forward of a particular lesson. It is always better to bring about the theme with a question rather than a statement. For example, teacher telling the children that, today we are going to learn about plants. That's a statement which the teacher tells the students. But she can also, start the topic with a bigger question, asking them, do you want to know how important plants are for us? Or do you want to know how many different kinds of plants are there? So this question arouses curiosity in the children. They would like to sometimes discuss or disclose their prior knowledge. They may like to actually sometimes talk, wherein they teacher will be able to identify that a child has some misconceptions already. She may be able to clear these misconceptions. So a question is always a good idea to start our theme with, and later we break these questions into smaller questions, which will be our subtopics for the chapter. I would like to come to the next way in which I think some of us would be aware of the KWL charts, wherein children write in the first column about what I know. The second column is what I want to know or what I wonder. And the third is about what they have learned. Now, when they talk about what I know, of course, they are talking about their prior understanding. What I wonder they can present in the form of post-its.
Sonia, 1 second. Shivaram Krishna sir. Shivaram Krishna sir, there's a lot of disturbance from your side. I'm trying to mute you and you're unmuting. I'm keeping you in mute, sir. Yeah, Sonia, please continue, Sonia. Sorry.
No, never mind. So teachers here are the facilitators. They are the guides. They can, when children are making the KW chart, they can go around and help the children with the new vocabulary. They can maybe correct the grammar a little. So when they tell about what they wonder, they actually would be in the discovery phase. We would then, as teachers, suggest them to read and research certain things, bring back their learnings, add more information to it, add more knowledge to it. We have the flipped classrooms also these days. And so what we do as teachers is we combine the information and our experience, and we make it knowledge for our children, which they can take back. Also, when we are talking about the smaller questions, we definitely would like to include the Bloom's taxonomy verbs, which are applying, analyzing, understanding, remembering, evaluating, and creating. So I definitely did. I'm an English teacher, and I had done something like this with the poem Leisure. So we had taken the poem Leisure. Now, sometimes it is very difficult for our children to create something new on their own. So what we asked them to do was, initially in the first stage, change a few words here and there in the same poem, maintaining the meaning of the poem. Them to evaluate, the meaning remains the same. And then maybe the next step going forward, create their own poems if some of the groups were able to do so. So these, of course, should be included in our teaching plans. Now, moving over to creativity, definitely being creative helps all of us to be problem solvers. I think we all are noticing in these current times, the masks are not available at the pharmaceutical stores. So what people have been suggested is that they have to make their own mask. I think so many videos are circulating these days, which show how to, maybe one of them which I saw was how to cut a socks and make masks out of it. So that is being creative and finding a solution for the problem that exists at hand. It is how you can view things differently. It also is very important because here the obstacles are taken as opportunities by the people. Now, it is very difficult for teachers to just tell the children, you identify a problem. We as adults also maybe at times may not be able to identify a particular problem. So what we have to do is we have to give them particular scenarios, particular situations. So maybe we talk to them about a railway station. So when we go to a railway station, what do you see? Right from the beginning, so from booking a ticket, is there a problem with that? Once you enter the railway station, you take a ticket, are there huge lines? Can we do something about it? So creativity is about solving a current problem and also improvising on the current situation, a current condition there that is. Also, when we go to the railway station, finding a particular platform, do we have all the information about that? Do we have an inquiry desk about that? Do we have a display about that? So we have to give the children particular scenarios out of which they can find problems. So maybe we give them the house. So in the house, how the finances have to be looked after, maid is coming or not, or what about the cleaning? So we must give particular scenarios to the children from where they can, identify the problem. They can research, read, find out different alternatives, and then maybe share it with the others. The ideas can be brought forward. Whatever is the most feasible and the practical idea can be taken forward and then actually converted into a reality. That is how we lead our children towards innovation also. Now, in one of the videos which I saw, there was a topic which was given, which was a flying horse. Now, people had to actually depict this. Now, some of the children, they drew a horse which had wings. One of the children there, he drew a plane which was flying and horse written to it. So it was a different kind of portrayal of a flying horse. Similarly, a topic was given which was a running house. Now, when some people were asked to depict how would you show a running house, somebody showed the house on wheels. Somebody showed that there was a house, and like we have the everyday morning situation, everybody is running, doing their morning chores. So that's a running house. One of the children showed a school scenario where the children were dressed up in different house t-shirts and they were running. So that was a different kind of a portrayal of a running house. So you're thinking out of the box. We are encouraging divergent thinking by, when we want our children to be creative. Now we can also ask the children, not even children, in fact the adults also, in how many ways, different creative ways can we use a comb. So besides combing, what else can you do with a comb? So you start thinking then, okay, that it could be used as a paperweight, it could be used for scratching. So we don't go by the stereotype. Another way could be showing a child a photograph and asking them to write a caption about it. So they could have a different kind of a thought process for it. Asking, dividing the children into groups and giving them blocks and asking them to create different structures. They would have a different thought process of creating a particular structure, why they have created that. Another one, so these are some ways, I think, in which we can include creativity in our daily teaching, in our lesson plans, and try and make our children more creative. I would now like to move over to the computer literacy. I think this is the in thing these days, because we cannot connect with our children, we cannot connect with our colleagues physically. So we all need to be computer literate. We are actually digital immigrants. I think we are learning by online resources, and also we are learning from our children, from our students. How can we be tech savvy? Some of the apps which I have discovered, and some of the apps which we are also using, I think, are Zoom, which we are currently using. Teachers are using Google Classroom. I also went through SpeakPipe, which is an app through which you can send voice messages to your students. The kindergarten children or the primary children, they are always happy connecting with their teachers. So Vokaru and SpeakPipe are the apps which can be used for sending the voice messages to them. Padlet is an app which helps share information. So you can draw something and share it with somebody. So that is another app which I had discovered. The next C which I would like to see in the learners, and which would definitely help them lead a successful life and become good individuals, is the next C, and which I see as the character. I think in these times we have seen the crime rate go up. As teachers, definitely we are doing our bit. In schools, we show school cinema, through which we try and inculcate moral values for our children. We have school assemblies which are theme based, honesty, integrity, perseverance, determination, and so on. What is happening usually is that the current trend shows that today most of the parents, the mothers and the fathers, are working. They have a little less time to talk to their children about moral values, about the life skills which we would like to see in our children. One such example of the activity which we can have in our classroom is debate. We have the usual kind of debate, but what I heard here was a little different, and I would like to share it with you. Now, one is that you put up the topic on the board, a topic like, are sports better than arts? So children can give their individual views on that. Now what you should do is that you divide them into smaller groups of 3 children. In these 3 children, one is the sportsman, the other is, and the other person, the third person is you, or another, the third child, who's a neutral individual. Now take their perspective. Now what they speak will be different. The sportsman will talk from his point of view, why sports is more important. The arts person would talk about why arts is more important than sports. So we get a different perspective. We want the children to be sensitive, to be tolerant, to be seeing things from all the angles. I think at school also, when we work And whatever we try to deliver, we try and look at things from the child's perspective, from the parents' perspective, from the management's perspective. We want that everybody should benefit out of it. For everybody, it should be a win-win situation. I think that is what we all want to do. So we must keep in mind the perspectives of different individuals with whom we are working. The second quality of which I can give you an example is perseverance. So maybe when we ask the children, as in the previous activity, we ask the children to make a structure out of the blocks that we have given them. As a teacher, when you're just going around, we just push that structure down. And let us notice the reaction of the children. Some may be frustrated, some may be angry, but some of them may also come back and say that, let us make it again. For this activity, let us give them a time frame that they are supposed to complete this activity maybe in 20 minutes. So looking at the time, the children can still say, we have time, let us go back and make it again. We want the children to know that success does not come easy. Everybody encounters failures in life. So they have to learn to, go back to it again and again and try to achieve success. The next one is the balloon activity. Herein, the children are given balloons, and they are given a list of prominent leaders, as you can see. On the balloon, they are supposed to write 5 leaders that they choose. Now, what we will notice is, and we need to reason out, we need to ask these children that why have you chosen these particular leaders? Now, it is generally seen that children choose the leaders according to the personal values that they have. So they may, prioritize enthusiasm, or they may prioritize creativity, or they may prioritize courage. And according to that, they choose the leaders. We also must tell our children that this can be probably done with the secondary group and senior secondary group, that what is the goal that you have in life? Now, somebody may say that I want to win a competition. Somebody may say that I want to earn a degree. If we put forward the personal values in front of them, the set that we see, for achieving a degree, adventure as a personal value may not be required, right? So they have to choose the personal values that they prioritize and they would like to see in themselves to reach the goal. So they come in sync, they align their personal values and inculcate some of them to achieve their goals. I think that is very important that we need to teach our children. Another thing is that research has shown that most of us have a lot of negative thoughts. We have positive thoughts as well, but all the time we have certain firm beliefs which come with our background experience or knowledge or our understanding, and we are told to be careful about certain things. Now, when this slide was shown to some people, what they could see was a black dot. Now, the black dot actually signifies the difficulty, the problem
Hello.
that we have in our lives. But one could also see
the other number. I'll call you back.
One could also see the white space, which are the positive things, the privileges that we all encounter, that we
Hello.
all enjoy. So we must tell our children to move from the negative to the positive. We will have some negative thoughts. We may have experienced certain things, but it is always very, very important for us to push ourselves towards more positive things as well. The next thing which I would like to talk about is the next C, which is citizenship. And I think today all of us are global citizens, because what we are doing is we are aware of our local environment. We are also aware of what is happening around the world. We are keeping ourselves updated. We are keeping ourselves posted about the newer drugs, the vaccines that are being worked upon. Basically, this is what we want of our children as well, that they should be global citizens. They should be aware of what is happening and contribute towards the progressive improvement of the entire community. That is what we expect. And that is what we have also done as Indians. We have helped maybe the people in US, UK, providing them the medicines. So we are contributing in our own way. We can call ourselves very much the global citizens, and we would like to see this quality in our learners. Again, I would consider this to be a very important 21st century skill, which I would like to see in the children.
Hello.
And
Yes,
last
sir.
but not the least is, I think, very important are the coping strategies. I think all of us in our lives
Yes, sir.
would have encountered failures. We would have had low times in our life, but we have risen back. We have bounced back. We have come back
I have just sent a mail to that.
to work and bring and push ourselves up.
The latest one.
Appuswamy sir,
single PPT
Sonia, 1 second. Appuswamy sir, you are audible here. I have kept you on mute, but still you are audible.
Yeah.
Sonia, please continue.
So I think we need to tell our children that it is very important to, vent up your emotions. So you talk to someone who is very near and dear to you. It could be your teacher, it could be your parent, your grandparents. Sometimes you may just come to a vacant room and shout there. Sometimes you may just throw stones in a pond to vent out your anger. But it is very important not to keep it in. The other coping strategy which I would like to discuss with my learners and which I would like to share is distracting oneself. There will be pitfalls in our lives, but we need to move away. We need to think away from that and think towards more positive sides. So let us do something for a while, something which we enjoy, something which we love to do. So move away from the situation which is bothering us and maybe listen to music, maybe cook, maybe sew something, maybe write a letter. Then it is very, very important to let our children know that they have to manage their hostile feelings, that one cannot be revengeful. They can discuss with us what they feel. So what they need to do is probably they need to read some positive quotes. They need to read inspirational stories. They need to watch some inspirational movies. And also by the kind of behavior we as teachers and we as parents show or display, I think our children learn a lot. So we have to show that, we learn to forgive people for their mistakes. We are not revengeful in our acts. We may have got hurt, but we don't give it back. I think we see it a lot of time in cyberbullying and so on. So we need to talk to our children about all those things. We need to celebrate small happy moments. We can't be waiting every time for very big achievements which we may not have in our life. Let us enjoy small little moments that we have. Then maybe meditate and exercise to be more calm and to be more composed. Use some relaxation techniques like taking a break, maybe going for a yoga, maybe going for a Zumba class or aerobics. These are some of the things which I would definitely like to share with my children, and I would like to see these in their personality. I would like them to follow these. One good activity which I came across was snowballing. Here, small little post-its are given to the children, and at the end of the lesson, they just write about what good they feel about themselves, or what good they felt, what was good in the lesson that they learned, and they throw it towards each other. And so then the activities that they open up that and they read. So it is about learning, knowing what are the good things, and keeping aside and ignoring some negative things which could be there in, we as individuals, we have our own strengths and weaknesses, but knowing what is good in me, knowing the strength of myself and the others is always good. And together, I think we take everybody forward. So I would like to see this in my children, and that is an activity which could be included in our teaching plan. So that is it from me.
Wonderful, Sonia ma'am. Thank you for your insights. So may I request the team now, if you have any questions or any discussions here, you may raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Yes,
Sridevi ma'am's hand I see.
Yes.
No, she's, I think, on mute.
I'm unmuting her.
Madam,
Now
please
I
unmute
unmuted
your.
it. Yeah,
Yes.
I did it. Like it's a lengthy conversation and a lot of slides were there. If it is available for us to use it, we may be getting more questions later on, not at this particular point of time.
Definitely, they will be
Because we were
shared
only
with you.
listeners. Yeah, if it is shared, maybe if we get any doubt, it's my risk thing. If I get any doubt, maybe I can ask in future.
Certainly. And
Still, I'm
what I,
processing it.
yes. And what I thought was actually, as teachers, we get a lot of information on the net, but if I share some activities, we can actually practically implement them in classes and see. So that is what I tried to do in my session.
Yeah, that's what I'm still trying to process it. That's the reason I don't have questions now. I want the
Certainly.
information so that I can ask.
Please take your time.
Any more questions, please? Or anyone wants to share anything here on the topic?
If
Sonia is here
anybody,
to help us.
Shrikala ma'am, if anybody else has any activity to share which we can incorporate to make our learners better individuals, I would be glad to learn too.
Certainly, Sonia ma'am.
Yeah, here I would like to add something. Yeah, you had given a lot of platforms, ma'am, like for the children to like a storytelling project, back-to-back drawing, whatever it is. Why don't we add theater also in that? Theater is very, very useful actually.
Certainly, yes. I thought some of the schools already have it, and that is why I did not include it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be really useful because it's again a group activity also, expressions
Certainly.
also.
Yes. So because role plays are an integral part of our teaching. So that is why I did not include it. But theater is good.
Okay, anyone else would like to talk to Sonia ma'am? Meena, you have anything to share here? Unmute yourself, Beena, unmute yourself. We are not able to hear you.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. In my childhood, I have participated in the radio show, in which I was never known before. That was the first experience of mine in where I have participated in a radio show, where a curtain was put to all the children. I mean, like on the stage, nothing was visible. We were back of the curtain and we were performing the things with the mic. Through that, at that age, I couldn't understand what was happening actually, but still I was participating. Still later, when I came into teaching field, then later I understood what it really was, and I really enjoyed it, and I even shared with my students too, and even I shared those things with my teachers too, colleagues, and that was good. When children perform like that, it is like one has given one advertisement, one has given one interview, so it was nice with radio,
Exactly.
radio show.
This is what I wanted to point out, that we may include it in our teaching plan, but our learners must know the importance of this. They must know
yes.
that when they go out in the world, when they go out in the industry, they are going to need all these, skills to work and go ahead and succeed and progress in life. Then they will need to know how to communicate, how to present themselves in an interview, how to stand properly, and that is why I gave the superhero stance. How to be confident in speaking and presenting themselves, how to collaborate and work in a team, how to do research and which fell down. She could teach them the concept of light and heavy. She could teach them the concept of floating and sinking. What I would like to add here is, the teacher then asked one of the children to come back and reproduce, come back and do the experiment on her own. While the child was, reproducing the same thing, she was carrying on with the experiment. She added at the end that, do you remember, my friends, the story of the thirsty crow? That the crow put the stones down, so it went down and the level of the water came up, and that is how it could quench its thirst. So I think that was a creative thinking. The child could apply the knowledge of floating and sinking and connect it with the story. So beyond the experiment, this thought was not, inculcated in the mind of children. So I think that is where you leave the children to imagination. We don't restrict their thinking. And that is what I had noticed. Also, I would like to add over here is that Sir talked about MAL, which is music, art, and language. Certainly, what we had also done was that we had integrated art with science. Now, not teaching art in isolation per se, taking up the concepts of science and including them in the art curriculum is what we had done. For example, in sciences, the children learn about the different types of venation, the reticular venation and the parallel venation.
Sonia ma'am, sorry
We
to
ask them
interrupt
to
you.
draw these. Sorry,
Sorry to interrupt you. We have one more speaker to join us.
I'll just conclude with this.
Yes, please.
So we could include these scientific concepts in the art curriculum. So they, instead of drawing random trees and so on, they actually drew this, or drawing of pet animal and the domestic animals, which they learn in the science. So integrating that with art is what we had also done. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for being together on the platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia ma'am. So in continuation to Sonia's presentation of 21st century skills on teaching and learning, since many of us are leaders, school leaders, the school owners, or a teacher trainers, I would like to add some of my inputs on 21st century pedagogical leader. To become a new age principal or a leader, we should certainly focus on learning collaboration, work in teams, learn critical thinking, take on complex problems, learn oral communication, and present very confidently how our Sonia could present. Learn written communication and express freely, because expressions matter a lot. Learn technology, use technology comfortably. In this era, certainly we have to be tech savvy. Develop citizenship, take on civic and global issues. Every leader should be very conscious about training our children about civic senses and educate them on global issues. Learn about changing careers, help students develop learning towards changing careers. This is very, very important. Many of us, we have started our career as a teacher and we are into leadership, and then some of us as a teacher trainers, some of us as authors. We see our main speaker of the day, Dr. Ramkrishna Adhuri. Learn about changing careers, become lifelong learners is very, very important. And in continuation with your point, Sonia, you were talking about mindset. It all depends on us if we take this COVID situation as a threat or opportunity. Ask me how it is an opportunity. Only because of this quarantine, we are now able to connect with each other, talk on important issues and topics connected to teaching and learning. So it depends upon the mindset, whether we take this as a issue, threat, or as an opportunity. Over to Appuswamy sir. Sir, he's a prominent speaker from Tamil Nadu. I'll give his
Hello.
introduction in a minute.
Yeah.
Good evening, Appuswamy sir.
Good evening, madam. Good evening. Can I straight away start?
So just I'll take 2 minutes to
Okay,
introduce you to the team. Dr. Appuswamy
Thank you.
is a renowned educationalist with a treasury of 30 years of experience in the field of education. He is a teacher trainer. I'm not trying to read out the whole content. I will just roughly take you through understanding. I know him from certain years, maybe some 3 to 4 years. He's a wonderful teacher trainer and a prominent personality, I can say, in Tamil Nadu. He's connected with the CBSE board and Alert Knowledge Services as a permanent trainer. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Right. Well, we were listening to two people from two different domains, Ramakrishnan sir from the publisher side and typical innovative principal, Sonia Nagpal from principal side. I myself was a principal and now I'm a owner of a school, and we have been running a school for the past 2 years. And let me just throw something on whatever they have left, because they have been just talking about 21st century skills. Fine, they have done very well. And what I would like to add to the points that they have done is, see, there are areas from which we need to train our teachers, and where our teachers need to come in handy. See, for example, lesson planning and the classroom setting. So these are the two things that I'm going to touch upon. So now, when you just look at components of a lesson plan, so we have got subjects, 5 subjects we have, and there needs to be subject integration in the lesson plan, and then contextualization. We'll have to touch upon this multiple intelligence, and we have to focus on the learning styles, levels of learning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. So these are the things that we need to have as the components in our lesson plan. So these, when we talk about the subject integration, see, when we teach one subject, for example, when we teach science or physics, let's say, so physics teacher has to have some touch with the physical education teacher, where the child can be taken to the ground, then he can be taught so many things as far as for example, force is concerned, speed is concerned. So the child can practically run and integrate these two with this one, and subject integration needs to be there. And then contextualization, and what context are they learning, so that is there. Then the multiple intelligence, where
Hope everyone
Howard
are
Gardner
able to
study, and we just
see the presentation of Appuswamy sir. Please raise your hand if you are able to see. I have shared the screen. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, now you can come to the third slide. So it's still in the first slide, second, third. So now, when we just talk about, when we say, people just say, say so many things. For example, even the modern principles and some of the educationists say that this one, Bloom's taxonomy is obsolete, and this Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence also is obsolete and all that. But still, we have got a lot in that. See, for example, multiple intelligence, when you look at, so there are so many things that we need to, because children, all the children cannot learn just like that. They have got different levels of learning, different styles of learning, and each one has different potential. So we need to be very, very cautious about that. See, Howard Gardner says, has identified 7 distinct intelligences in the in his theory. Recent cognitive research and documents the extent to which students possess different kinds of minds, and therefore learn, remember, perform, and understand in different ways. According to Gardner, 1991, this one, according to his theory, we are all able to know the world through language, logical, mathematical analysis, spatial representation, musical thinking, the use of the body to solve the problems or to make things, understanding of an understanding of other individuals, and an understanding of ourselves, where individuals differ in the strength of these intelligences, the so-called profile of intelligences, and in the ways in which such intelligence needs to be or invoked and combined to carry out different tasks, solve diverse problems, and progress in various domains. So this is what Howard Gardner was suggesting. Different children learn with the different kinds of styles, different kinds of levels. So when we talk about different levels of learning, we come to the Bloom's taxonomy. So we're understanding knowledge, all those kinds of things. And then in his lesson, we have got visual, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, linguistic, logical, and mathematical. So these are the things that we need to focus upon. So we have to cater to all these kinds of things. When you just talk about multiple intelligences, so we need to integrate all these things in our lesson plan. So our lesson plan has to cater to children of different levels, children of different styles. So according to that, our every lesson plan has to cater to the needs of the children. So that's very, very important. And then, so if you just run through the slides, you have got all the things. Each multiple intelligence, what kind of careers and all that. So I'm not just going to talk about that, but in general, the lesson plan has to cater to all these kinds of things. And when you come to the last one, so where so we have got different types of learning styles: auditory learner, visual learner, kinesthetic learner. And then, so basics of a lesson plan. In that, if you just look at, so for all these 3 different types of learning styles, we have to have that levels of learning. For an auditory learner, at what level is our student? So how to cater to his need. So that's very, very important in the lesson plan. So that's all I'm just going to, I'm not going to deal much about this lesson plan, but this is the kind of lesson plan that I would expect my teachers to prepare and go to the class. But the other round, when you just talk about the modern classrooms, we have to have different varieties of classrooms, where you must have heard about Gurukula system of learning. Gurukula system, when you just talk about, that's an ancient system. But even now, we have got different kinds of setup in the classrooms, where teachers are permanent. Maths teacher will be sitting in one room, where children will different class, first standard child or 7, whatever, when they have maths periods, they'll go to that classroom. Will be well equipped. It will have an activity corner, it will have the other setup where the children will be normally doing. So different activity corners will be there. So teacher needs to be well equipped. So her lesson plan, his or her lesson plan has to cater to all these kinds of things, and they should be preparing wonderfully well so that the children learn with less amount of stress. So because see, these days when you talk about, they always talk about marks, and absolutely marks, of course, no, in the maybe in a different sense it works, but in general, what we need to focus on is the development of skills. So when we talk about skills, the child has to brim with self-confidence, and as no, uh, Sonia madam was telling, so they have to have these activities, and they have to learn in an environment in which they just understand every single step of it, and then they understand, they learn that. So that's very, very important. Only when then the child will not forget what he has learned. It will go with him to the grave. So that's very, very important. Maybe I would never tell my teachers and my principal to focus on marks. So you have to focus mainly on the no, actually the process. Once the process is no perfect, learning will automatically take place. So that's what I would always suggest. So you need to focus on the process. So how you should have planned your lesson plan well, and once you go to the classroom environment is superb. So once your classroom environment is conducive, automatically the children will start learning, and the teacher also will feel like teaching. So everything will be perfect. So that's the thing that we need to focus on. So you have to I don't know, most of the people, they struggles, they say so much about, worry so much about marks, where I'm not so particular. But of course, at the end of the day, my children score marks, but they don't start the year with a focus, with an intention to score marks. I would never ask my student to say, no, start the year with 10 on 10. Absolutely no. But you be focused. You have, you don't have, absolutely don't have any stress at all. I allow them to play. I allow them to study at their own pace. So absolutely. But once the process is perfect, at the end of the day, what is to be achieved, everything will be done. Children will naturally learn, and this learning will be enduring, and they will finally emerge as people with self-confidence, and they'll be able to excel in any field. Wherever they go, they'll stand apart, and they will be able to deliver. So that's the kind of thing that we need to, all those things. The slides I have already just finished, because I have just given about the multiple intelligence. I'm just talking about one which I have not given, because this classroom setting. So the classrooms for the children, from KG to at least second standard, if possible till fifth standard, they should have a setup in which they just learn. Even right from 2015 onwards, we had dispensed with homework for children up to fifth standard. So the government just said, no, 2 years back, you have to abolish homework and all that. But we have not been giving homework to the students right from 2015 onwards. That's how we have. But absolutely, there was no dip in quality of education. Children were naturally doing wonderfully well, and they have all done well. So we need to create an environment in which the children enjoy the process of learning. So that's the first thing. They need to enjoy the process of learning. Once they enjoy that, automatically learning will take place. So I have just talking in general, but once you have this practical difficulties, of course there are convincing the parents, and then because they always ask about homework, why my son is, but no, I have how I started out this problem. Even while giving admission itself till fifth standard, I personally talk to the parents, and I tell them, see, we have got a different kind of a system here. Absolutely no homework for your son till 5th standard. And in case if you are very particular about marks and only about homework, sorry, this is not the school for you. You can go elsewhere. So this is how I have always spoken to the parents, and we have taken parents who are really interested in making their children enjoy the process of learning, live a life that is enjoyable, because the schooling is actually a period which will be very fresh in their mind till the end of their lives. So that is the thing that we need to focus, and we have to give the children conducive atmosphere in which they learn and enjoy the process. And maybe I'm not going specifically into anything, so that's why I just told you these two things. One is that lesson planning. So you have seen that the last 3 slides, if you see, lesson plan, basics,
This
auditory.
PPT will be
So
shared
wh-
with the team as well, sir.
No problem, darling. I have just sent it. You
Thank
can
you.
give it to. Absolutely. But in case if they have some doubt about this lesson planning, there'll be a lot of doubts, because see, for example, learning style, auditory learner. So at if he is an auditory learner, at what level is he? Is he at the knowledge level? Is he at the comprehension level? Is he at the application level? Is he at the analysis level? Is he at the synthesis? So for every child, we need to assess and then find out. Assess in the sense, when we make observations, we'll be able to do that. And then when you look at the next one, that visual learner. So visual learner, if he is a visual learner, what level is he? Knowledge level, comprehension, application. And the next one is that kinesthetic learner. So different levels. And even this lesson plan is a bit difficult to, but still it is not impossible. So we can naturally prepare a lesson plan which caters to all these kinds of needs, fulfills all these requirements. So that's the thing. But we have sample these things, lesson plans for this. Maybe later, if you want, I can share that, so that which will be helpful. Because these lesson plans, we need to have discussion. Only then they will understand. Otherwise, teachers will be just left like that, blind. They'll be they will have the lesson plan in their hand, and they won't know what to do. So therefore, this type of lesson plan, when they want to prepare, they need some guidance. We can always provide. So that's the thing. In case you have some doubts, some clarifications, you can ask. Because I was just looking at the time. It's almost 8:02. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
If anyone would
I
like
could have-
to have a talk, please raise your hand. Sonia ma'am.
I'm sure a lot of doubts would be
Rupa.
there, but anyway, you can.
Last session will be always challenging, sir.
Very quickly, I will ask.
Yeah, please.
So I wanted to know that here you had knowledge and understanding and so on, and on the horizontal side you had multiple intelligence. How do you enter that table? Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 till 8, and what are you entering in that?
No, this actually, see, for example, so let's take, the first one is that auditory learner. So
Yes.
auditory learner, he is at the knowledge level. So these are the other things, see, this is actually, this is not for the lesson. No, after lesson plan, making assessment in the classroom. For example, an auditory learner is at the knowledge level. Where is he? How on a 8-pointer scale, where is it? Knowledge, he is at the 4th level. See, for example, for everything we have got about 8 these things. The levels are knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, creation. But in the knowledge, there are different levels. If even in the knowledge level, there can be so many things. So an auditory learner, he has he's at the knowledge level, and he's in the 4th point. So, or maybe 5th, 6th comprehension level. But it's only just to make an assessment and to see. This comes later, but not in the very first. As we proceed with the lesson plan, classroom transaction and all that, gradually when we observe, make observations about each individual child. For every child, we need to prepare like that.
I thought multiple intelligences, for example, number one is interpersonal, number two intrapersonal, then musical, then spatial, because those are the 8 types of multiple
Yeah, there
intelligences.
are
Right?
7 multiple intelligences, but the 8th one is creativity. What is added?
So probably we need to meet in person to understand this.
Yeah, that's it.
Or Sonia, we
We-
can have another class where we can request Apuswami sir to take a detailed class and take us through the clarity on the topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next, it was Rupa.
Yeah, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening to everyone. Just I would like to share my few of the views. Today
Yes,
in
ma'am.
this platform, we have learned a lot, sir. When I
Mhm.
was doing my BEd, I have learned all these, that bodily linguistic, interpersonal and interpersonal. But nowadays, the parents, as you have said, they are not taking care of their education, and they're not worried about the motor, gross motor skills and the sensor motor skills. They're least worried about the marks, as you have been explained here. They want only the grades and the marks.
But
After
majority,
long back,
but
yeah, please.
no, but even before making admissions, I always make it clear, because these days, parents are very, confident, and there are parents who don't want marks. They want their children to, have
But
develop
very,
skills.
very few we can see
But
such a type of
there are handful of, no, because the only thing is that they don't run into the right people. But see, easily we made about 400 admissions last year.
Yes, sir.
But I spoke to every single parent and convinced them about this. Say absolutely no homework, and even now the examination. When we talk about the examination, timetable is not given at all. We only give them the duration from 8th to 15th to 22nd. We will have the examination, and only just the previous day I will give them the subject. So tomorrow we are going to have English. That's how I conduct examination, because assessment is not just within a day or two or within 15 days they are prepare and write.
Yes, sir. Fine. And
Even for the past 3 years we have been doing this, and we don't give them the timetable like 15th maths, 16th science. No, not like that. We only give them the duration from this time to this time. In between,
any exam.
so just the previous day, tomorrow if it is English, today only I will announce. So tomorrow we are going to have English. They should be ready. When people ask how can they revise, how can they do that? See, it is not a question of revising overnight. So the child has to prepare continuously, and only we are going to test what they have learned. We are not going to test what they have not learned. So that's the thing that we.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful point raised by you,
Yes.
Rupa. I
Thank you,
really
ma'am.
wanted
Thank
to
you, ma'am.
throw some light on one point which Apuswami sir concluded now. It all depends how we, give induction to the parents, train the parents, make them understand the importance of scientific approaches in teaching and learning, and then introduce the curriculum to the children. When parents are in a state where they feel all our practices are alien practices to them, definitely you will have a lot of opposition. When you train the parents, educate the parents, and then allow the curriculum to get into the school, you can do wonders whatever you wanted to do. Over to Sri Devi.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you to
Yeah.
everyone, ma'am. In this domain, we have learned a
Same
lot.
thing.
Thank you.
What Rupa said, I also have something to add. What Bhargavi said is very correct. Like you have to train the parents. And there is an old saying, learning is much easier than unlearning. So we are teaching our children.
Sri Devi, our next topic is going to be the same. Learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Exactly. So for parents, they already learned it. So what they learned it is not going to work for us. So we have to make them unlearn the things. Then you have to make them relearn the things. So it works in that way only. So parents are not really easy to take these things, saying that you don't know the thing, I am teaching you something new. It is like some XYZ concept. I brought it from Mars. No, it's not going to work. So first of all, go to their level, bring them to your level. This should be the concept for every teacher or every educator or every leader. First of all, you have to go to their level. Bring them to your level, then definitely it is going to work. But you can't expect them to raise to your level without doing any work. You have to do the background work. Then only people will raise to your level.
Exactly.
So this is what I want to add.
Anyone
It's a
else
cumbersome
here?
process. It is, but it's not impossible. It is possible. But
Yes.
you have to
Sir,
spend a
Appuswamy
lot
sir,
of
it
time.
is I am
Takes years.
possible now.
Mm.
The trend changed. It is I am possible
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Yes.
So anyone else would like to talk here? We have got a request from Nagaratna ma'am when we have started this session. I just quickly read it out. It is in the charts. It is gone now. I'm not able to see this. Ratna ma'am, can you please quickly share with us your expectation?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Please.
Yes, yes. No, I'm very happy that I got to learn a lot of things from all of you. So I request you all to collaborate to help children with special needs in an inclusive setup, and differentiated instruction does wonders. It also helps all the types of learners like visual learner, auditory learner, tactile learner, and kinesthetic learner. So I request all the leaders and teachers to kindly implement differentiated learning in the curriculum, and no child should be left behind. So for this purpose, let's collaborate. That's all I want to say.
Ramakrishna sir, over to you, sir. You have to take lead of this.
Yeah. See, in fact, there are three things that are being put together here. One is your multiple intelligence theory of Dr. Howard Gardner, and learning styles. Of course, three are mentioned. There is the fourth one also. We also have Bloom's revised taxonomy. Good thing is, as ma'am said just now, when you're writing your lesson plan, when you write your instructional objectives, keywords come from Bloom's taxonomy. And MI and your learning styles are incorporated when you write your differentiation strategies. And what Dr. Appuswamy has said is an excellent point. When you want to know the needs of the child, you should be able to identify where it is a dominant intelligence, recessive intelligence, what kind of intelligence he is endowed with, and that along with his learning style. That is, you can initially write in the beginning of the academic year so that you have understood the child well. So Bloom's taxonomy gives you the keywords which are used in the instructional objectives when we write the instructional objectives in the lesson plan. And when you write the differentiation strategy, those two are required actually, MI and that learning style. But mind you, there is another theory which is very valid in our circumstances, MN, multiple nature theory given by Stephen Ridolph. Every child has got a nature. If we know the nature of the child, that would always be better. MIMN. And as Mamata ma'am has suggested, of course, that's a wonderful idea which we probably should discuss at length. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. Dr. Alvin Toffler's.
Sir, you forgot my name. It's Srikala. The company name is Mamata.
You are a company by yourself, like.
Thank you, sir. And there is a message from Varalakshmi. She has some audio issues, so she has typed us a message, and she wants some of us to read it out.
Yeah, Varalakshmi ma'am, is it Varalakshmi? Yeah,
yes,
we can collaboratively work for the development of the students by developing our skills. All the three speakers are really awesome. Special thanks to Srikala ma'am. I'm having some audio issues, so I am texting. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Credit for you, Varalakshmi.
And next session, I just tell you how you can unlearn much faster than learning. That is very easy. Like.
So you will have to take the lead. You will have to take the lead.
I don't mind. I tell you how easily you can forget things.
Sir. And also the topic which Ratna ma'am wants us to, have a talk, interaction, and collaborate with. Addressing the special needs of the
definitely
needs
special
of the
needs
special
and,
children. Yeah.
We can inclusive education. She was asking. That's fine.
Yes.
Is an excellent point.
So since many of us are school principals or owners, I just wanted to request you, if you still have some 10-15 minutes of time, if you can roughly take us through the situation. We are, I can say, homeschooling is happening now. We can't say it is online classes, it's homeschooling. So how are you managing your schools now? How are you engaging the children properly? So if you can quickly share your ideas, because it's a wonderful platform, I feel, to share our ideas, and the knowledge
Madam,
should
we are
always get.
giving the
Yeah. Rupa.
now we are giving regularly homeworks, ma'am, and online classes are going on for 10th and 9th students. So, and we are taking the feedback from the parent. Daily, we are giving a homework schedule to the students. Even it is in a different platform, ma'am. It is in writing as well as objective and in art and craft, dance, everything. In a week, one day is related to one topic, madam. So
Okay.
in this manner, we are maintaining these all the holidays. I can say it's not holidays. So
Yeah, homeschooling. Anyone?
we are doing all the home tasks, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Anyone here doing things little different?
Yes.
Sridevi,
We
yes.
are giving the activities to children.
Sridevi,
which is going to,
can I request you to introduce yourself to the team?
yeah,
Sridevi is
okay.
always special to me.
Right, that is right. I agree with that. So this is Sridevi, and I am in the preschool industry from past 11 years. So I worked in all the departments in preschool, like I can call myself from a ayah to the owner. I do everything because I love to be with children. That's the basic thing. So I don't mind doing any job in my school. So I own 2 preschools. And apart from that, I work for a preschool industry organization as a academics manager also. And top of that, I have a tuition point where I take care of the children up to class 10. So, and I do storytelling. I do a lot of things. Actually, I'm into teachers training also. So I love to experiment with the things and I love to learn the new things. Whatever is new, I'm happy to learn it.
Let's see all your skills in the next, upcoming sessions, Sridevi.
Yeah, so what we are doing with our children is like we are giving the activities where parents are also involved in that. It's not only the child learning something only for the class, lesson, subject. It's not like that. Parents should be involved. Why? Because that is what is a missing factor in the regular life, because parents are busy working, going to office, coming back. Maybe children are going for a tuition or something. But now parent is managing the child. Education also, entertainment also, food also, too many things are managed by the parent now. So in this multitasking, parents are also learning a lot, because I get a lot of compliments from people like, ma'am, thank you so much, because we are also involved now. We are also learning something now. So we are doing it that way. We are not giving only for a child to learn something. We are giving it something for the parent also to learn.
Excellent. Excellent. May I request?
Can I add one point
please,
here?
Please.
So in the the national education policy, instead of saying early childhood education, we are saying ECCE, early childhood care and education.
Exactly.
ECCE we are calling it, not ECE. Good ma'am,
Yes,
good experience you've got there.
Next, we have here Nivedita. Nivedita, if you can quickly share how are you managing the online classes. Nivedita is in the school, Gachibowli, and she is into Sri Ram Universal School now.
Yeah, hi everyone. It was a very nice session and informative as well. So ma'am, actually, like we have completed our session on 11th of April. So we conducted online classes and shared the presentations, and as Ms. Sridevi mentioned, like the parent involvement was there. So we planned the activities where like parents were involved with the children and like homework sheets. So that's how we manage these 15 days of online classes.
Thank you, Nivedita. Anyone else here doing something out of textbook? Other than textbook learning, have we started focusing on other than textbook learning? Apart from being founder for Mamata Outsourcing Consultancy Services, I'm working as Chief Operating Officer for Cairo Schools, where I'm taking care of one CBSE school and a Cambridge school. And Ramakrishna sir, for your information, I have started taking program leader course directly
So
from
yeah, of
Cambridge.
Cambridge
Yeah.
University. Wonderful, wonderful.
So,
I just, can I add one point here?
sir, please.
It's not an interruption.
Sir.
You know, like I met a few principals in the recent times, and they want to run online classes, but they have their own apprehensions about exposing their teachers to parents. They said it's very difficult, and we can't, you know, like take our average teachers and show to our parents, and that can be a wrong demonstration and all that. My request is, in case, you know, if there are any such school where they want expert lessons, like, you know, probably like maybe by Zoom or anything, you know, I want all school leaders, Mamata ma'am or Srikala ma'am or Bhargavi ma'am. I think she can take care of any such requirement.
Sir,
And
please. And
the
also, sir,
lessons
sorry to interrupt you. And also, you were sharing about some application or some concept to share, and you were feeling like this is not the right platform.
No, just one line I can finish off.
Please, please.
I you know, to teach mathematics, physics, chemistry, and English also, we can incorporate a lot of technology. And I am known for using, right now I have been learning right from PowerPoint presentations, Flash animations, Vermal worlds, Java applet, simulations, gizmos and all that. We can bring the live experiment into the class. We can, you know, bring that visualization for that conceptual clarity. In case anyone require, of course, she is there, ma'am will coordinate. We can have wonderful lessons. There is nothing to imagine. We can demonstrate that in the class. And when it's a sound experiment, they can hear the sound. With the light experiment, we can change the wavelength and show them the change of colors. And everything can be done in a virtual environment. Actually, every chemistry experiment can be done. You can mix the reagents and show what is going to happen, and that can be done on screen. So if any such requirement is there, of course, Sasikala ma'am will coordinate that, and that would be wonderful, in fact, if it can reach the children. Thank you very much.
Sir, and this forum is open for you, Ramakrishna sir. Whatever, whichever resources you feel can be shared here, you can. And there is a request from Ratna ma'am that you were talking about some reading cards of Orient Blackstone. She would. She's requesting us to request you to share the information with the team.
Same. Orient Blackstone's cards only. Because you can directly connect them to the company, and they will respond. That will serve.
Okay, sir. And any other school is planning some activities for the children out of other than textbook? I am unmuting Shivakumar sir. Shivakumar sir from Karnataka. Sir, you will have to unmute yourself on your device.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Madam, can I speak in Hindi?
Sure, sir. No problem.
Please.
No problem, sir. Please be comfortable. No problem.
Actually, hi, madam. Hi. मैडम मेरा नाम है शिव कुमार, मैं कर्नाटक से बात कर रहा हूँ। एक्चुअली ना मैं रियल एस्टेट बिजनेस से हूँ। ये स्कूल मेरे लिए नया बिजनेस है, बिजनेस इन द सेंस मेरे लिए नया टास्क है। लास्ट 4 ईयर से अपना मैं स्कूल चला रहा हूँ। एक्चुअली मैं ना स्कूल करने का रीजन है मेरे डॉटर अपने एरिया में कुछ ऐसा अच्छा स्कूल नहीं है, मैं मेरे डॉटर को स्कूल में पढ़ा सकूं। इसलिए मैं एक स्कूल करने के लिए मेरा कुछ कमिटमेंट्स है, पर्सनल कमिटमेंट्स है। मैं एक गांव छोड़ के दूसरे तरफ जा नहीं सकता और अच्छे स्कूल में नहीं डाल सकता, इसलिए मैं सोचा एक अच्छा स्कूल करेंगे कि वो हिसाब से मैं स्कूल स्टार्ट करा। 4 ईयर से मैं रन कर रहा हूँ। दिस इज लास्ट ईयर 4 ईयर कंप्लीट हुआ और 5th ईयर स्टार्ट है का। ओके सर बोल रहे थे स्टूडेंट कुछ अच्छी के वो एक्चुअली बहुत सही तरीका है। इसके वास्ते हम लास्ट ईयर से करते रहे, और उसमें एक एक्सपेरिमेंट है, हम एवरी सैटरडे बैगलेस डे बनाते हैं। बैगलेस डे में हम बच्चों को कुछ नया नया प्रोजेक्ट कराते हैं। एवरी वीक हम सब्जेक्ट रिलेटेड प्रोजेक्ट देते फर्स्ट पीरियड में, सेकेंड पीरियड में क्विज, जो ड्रामा, एक्टिविटी, डांस सब, उसके बाद में कुछ नेचर के बारे में कुछ प्रोजेक्ट करते हैं, और उसके बाद में लास्ट में हम कुछ बच्चों को अवार्ड फंक्शन करते हैं। एवरी वीक हम अवार्ड फंक्शन करते हैं। अवार्ड फंक्शन में हम हीरोज ऑफ द वीक, ऐसा कुछ एवरी क्लास में दो दो तीन तीन बच्चों को हम सेलेक्ट कर लेते। उसमें हम एवरी बच्चों को हीरोज ऑफ द वीक में हम कुछ इन डिफरेंट टाइप बच्चों को कुछ गिफ्ट दे देते। वो गिफ्ट ऐसा रहता है कि बाजार में भी नहीं मिलता है वो गिफ्ट। मैं उसके बाद और अवार्ड फंक्शन करने के बाद हम उसको हीरोज ऑफ द वीक के बना के उसको हम फोटोग्राफ करके उसको एक फोटो हम उनके पेरेंट्स को भी दे देते, और अपना क्लासरूम में ऐसा हम डिस्प्ले कर लेते हैं। एवरी वीक चेंज होते रहता है। और उसके साथ में हम ताकि दूसरे टाइप में भी हम एक्टिविटी कराते रहते हैं। जस्ट लाइक ये वाला है अपना पास स्माइली, इस टाइप में कुछ बच्चों को अलग अलग टाइप में देते। बच्चे बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं इसके ये करने के वजह से। बच्चों में भी बहुत सारे चेंजेस हम अपने को मालूम हो रहा है। थैंक यू। मुझे फर्स्ट टाइम में एक्चुअली मैं बात करने का नहीं हो रहा है। थैंक यू मैडम, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Sir, that's fine. We really appreciate that you have shared whatever good practices you are implementing in your school. There any other suggestions? Aparna ma'am. Aparna ma'am, would you like to share something here, Aparna ma'am? Okay, I would like to share some resources which we are using in our school. We are connected with Extra Marks, where they are facilitating us some content and activities for the children. For general knowledge, I would strongly recommend the Ultimate Knowledge, TUK, the Ultimate Knowledge. If you want, I can facilitate the executive number as well. They are providing 1 week free access for all the parents, all the schools and their parents, so that children can get access. The concept of Ultimate Knowledge is wonderful, I can say. The last year when I was called to New Delhi for a award felicitation function, there I have gone through their presentation. The concept is so really wonderful. What are the publications available in general knowledge? When they are in print form, I can say Cambridge and Oxford, Cordova are the leading publications with wonderful concepts in general knowledge. What this Ultimate Knowledge has done is they have made general knowledge learning online. For example, if I have issued one printed version of general knowledge as a head of publication, I'll be able to revise that edition only after 2 years. So the current affairs and the general things which we children are supposed to learn on time will have to wait for 2 years. So this the Ultimate Knowledge company has made general knowledge learning online, where immediately once the update is found in the world, across the world, they will put immediately in their website and children will have access. So that's one suggestion from my side. And if you're looking for worksheets, education.com is one website where whole week study packs, individual study packs, I believe, are available for the children. You can simply download them and share with the children. They are printable sheets. If you don't want to go for printable sheets, then you have XL website, XL, where children can log in and answer the questions there. typable sheets. Now you have Byju's, which is known to everyone. So I have some points which you can share with your parents. Like, please ask the parents to be very calm and composed during this quarantine. Even we are undergoing a lot of anxiety issues and undergoing a lot of stress. We're worried about our career. We are worried about our economy, and certainly we are worried about our future. So keeping children in mind, parents have to be calm and composed. So please suggest this to the parents, because children will always learn by observing the parent. Environmental influence matters a lot on the growth of the children, growth and development of the children. Then you can suggest parent to prepare a timetable or schedule where they can decently plan all the activities of the child. Take their study activities. Schools are sending them worksheets. Schools are taking online classes, and I am not really crazy towards online classes, taking online classes or making my teachers to take online classes, as Sridevi said. There are a lot many things to learn apart from the subjects and the contents what we get in textbooks. In that schedule, you can ask the parents to have 3 major subjects or contents. Take literacy and language, then mathematics and social sciences. Apart from these regular subjects, you can include proper engagement activities in the schedule, like cleanliness, sanitation, small household chores, and suggest the parents to have family goals, which are very, very important. In this family goals, you can encourage the parents. Hope I'm audible. Encourage the parents to take values, ethics, empathy, sympathy, and so on. Please suggest the parents to have positive affirmations, like what Sonia ma'am was suggesting: quarantine versus opportunity, threat versus opportunity, difficulties versus happy time. Of course, we're after years, I can say, if you ask me personally, maybe after 12 years, I got very quality time to spend with my family. I'm able to understand my family far better than Jan, December, I can say. Vice versa. వాళ్ళకు కూడా అర్థమవుతుంది మన గురించి. Then please request the parents to encourage book reading. Further sessions we are going to have on STEM, STEAM and STREAM, where we will have a wonderful discussions on importance of reading. Let parents talk about some life skills. We can facilitate the information to the parent. What are the life skills? We can share a small document or a PPT with the parent, so that parent will have a talk. The talk of the parent will definitely have better impact on the child. Then we can have family yoga, family workouts. Then the next struggle, what all parents, whether you take a young children parent or children of some 18-20 age group, sleep in time is a paramount now. No children are going to bed in time, and it is leading to lot of sleep disorder, which is definitely going to affect the cognitive ability of the child. So encourage the parents to sit with the children, have bedtime stories and some lullabies, play light music, where they can take the children to the sleep in time. So these are the points from my side. Over to any next person in the team here, or we shall conclude. Apu Swami sir, would you like to share something? Appuswamy sir. I'm trying to unmute you. Sir, unmute yourself on your device, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I have muted. This is actually testing time, so everybody needs to be very patient. And normally, I don't go out; I stay in, which is very unlikely. Usually, I rarely stay at home, so mostly on the move. But this almost 20 days, I've been just inside. Oh, but anyway, things will improve, and let's hope for the better. So everyone, we'll have to wish each other. So take care, stay home,
stay safe.
stay cool and composed. So this is the time where you have plenty of time to prepare yourselves and all that.
I thank all the speakers of the day. My special thanks to Ramakrishna sir.
Thank you. Right,
Sonia ma'am and
Thank you,
Appuswamy
thank you.
sir. And all the school leaders for taking active part. Sir.
Bye. Thank you, sir. Bye.
I have a simple wish actually. I wish Shivakumar sir to start a college and a university also for his daughter. And with all
that's great.
Thank you.
With all the best wishes to him. We'll see one day a university for your daughter. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Stay home, stay safe.
Okay,
Let
right.
us all meet in
Right.
the next session. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.